Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is my honor and privilege to welcome our esteemed guest, Mr. Gopal Krishna, Country Head, Market Function and Product Group Head at Tata Consulting Service, Ireland. With over 28 years of experience, he has demonstrated exceptional leadership skills in various roles, including product management, consultancy, sales, marketing, and product development. His ability to effectively manage diverse portfolios, geographies, and team highlights his adaptability to different cultures and environments. Prior to joining TCS, he has held significant positions at renowned companies such as Williamson and Magor Group, Carrier Corporations, and Voltas Limited. His expertise extends to strategy consultancy, education reforms, sustainable value creation, and innovation in the education sector. He has also received Use of Technology in Education 2021 award by IIM Ranchi. Apart from his professional achievements, he has held an exceptional education background with MBA from XIM Bhubaneswar and MTech from Pichulani. He is a member of prestigious organizations such as Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineer, International Association of Engineers, Indian Mathematical Society, and Operational Research Society of India. In addition to his corporate responsibilities, he is actively engaged in academics and advisory roles. He has served on various committees and boards, including the Examination and Education Reforms Committee of Andhra Pradesh State Council of Higher Education, the Board of Governor of XIM University. His contributions has earned him numerous awards and accolades, such as Pride of Excellence Award 2023, the Kubraj Samman of Excellence in Corporate Leadership by Kubrajal Group of Institutions. His innovative endeavors, including the TCS Iron paper device, have been honored as a Best Innovation at TCS Innovista and Tata Innovista Award of Promising Innovations. Now, I would request Mr. Gopal Krishna sir to come up to the stage and share his invaluable insights and expertise on evolving business strategies, product to platform.
Thank you. Can you hear?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear? So, thank you very much for a lovely introduction. But so many people, so that's really good. I understand a lot of people are from TCS also. Yeah, so I can make out a few of them with their faces, right? Good. So, good. It's always my privilege to come to this Jesuits institution because I myself was passed out from XIM and I am from this place, this city on Williamson. So my primary schooling and basic education happened in the city only. Although I left a long back, but yeah, so that kind of memories are always there. How much time I have? 60 minutes?
Yes.
60 minutes, yeah. So just someone keep a tab on the time so that I should know. So I prepared few slides, yeah. So, but with a disclaimer that these slides are just for a discussion points, not that I wanted to. What I wanted to communicate, I use the medium of these slides. But whatever way you are comfortable, we can have this discussion. More importantly, that whatever I had an experience all these years, I want to translate it to you. I want to explain it to you so that you will also understand what has happened. Definitely, you have gone through your academics, your rigor, your faculty members have given a lot of cases and all those things, or started doing that. What experience I have gone through, so that is the basis I want to do, right? So, few disclaimers. So whatever things I have taken is from a public domain, so all the IPs belongs to the respective owners. Right? All the views are my own, not with my group company, nor unit or TCS. Yeah, and purely for consumption of this classroom. And I use someone to prepare this PPT. Definitely, I won't put any pressure or stress on the person who has prepared in the office. Right? So So these are the disclaimers you can start. Any point of moment, if you want to ask anything, you can ask me, or you want to ask me end of this, you can do that. So whatever way, I'm okay with that. And anything under the sun, you ask me. Don't ask me about the job, salaries, promotion, and TCS. Other things you can ask me.
Excuse me,
So
sir.
because already,
Can you be a little more audible?
so they have taken. So now can you hear? Can I? Yeah. Okay. So that is clear, right? So you have come for a management course. So what is the expectation? So when we enter into a management school, so we expect these are the things. When I joined, I also expected this, okay, that going to a management school, wear coat and tie. Before that, never had an opportunity to wear a coat. Our generation, I'm not talking of you. And I will have fun there, parties and all. And XLRI was famous. Obviously, XL is also very famous for those days for partying. So this is what is my expectation. But this is not the reality. Experience is something very, very different, right? Once we enter there, then we realize, surprise results. The faculty members who are sitting with you Sunday morning, 7 o'clock, they will give you a surprise results and all, right? So this is the kind of thing, and then, you have multitasking, projects, teamworks, data, collection of data and all. Nowadays you have online, so I'm talking of non-internet days, when we used to have to go to the field and you have to collect the data and all. So the advantage of that was more than current, because whatever we used to talk, used to give the data and the project report to our professor, they used to believe it. But today, whatever you give, they will actually go and do a plagiarism check and Google and all those things maybe. So, but this is a night outs for assignments and all that. But what actually we learn is this. So this is what actually happens when you go to an organization. Now at least current situation, the kind of so dynamic world we are living, the business scenarios are changing, particularly post-pandemic, the kind of the business models which are there today, tomorrow you may not see those business models. Right? So that kind of pressure which we are working, multitasking and collaboration, a lot of acquisition mergers are happening, a lot of cross-functional team. People who has come from TCS, they realize that, I'm sure this is true for other organizations also. You have to, for any project, you have to work with a multiple teams. Unless until you understand, you learn, you collaborate, how intelligent, how brilliant you are, how hardworking you are not been successful to deliver that project. These are the things which we get in this life. This MBA, what we do, whatever nomenclature we use, whether PGD and MBA or whatever. So, when we do a strategic planning, so this is what happens actually. So strategy is a very good word. Everyone can actually get impressed with, I'm doing the strategic planning, particularly someone comes to a 15, 20 years experience, become a manager or so-called leaders, we talk very frequently use internal and external. I'm in a strategic meeting, I'm doing a strategic work. But exactly what we are doing, sometimes we are also not aware. Sometimes we do on a gut, sometimes we do on a data, sometimes we do on a previous businesses which are successful, with previous product launches, what we have done, and been successful, we try to replicate the same. I give the story of my own unit, my own experience within TCS and before TCS. 2 examples I will narrate where you will feel that I was successful in one particular way. I was doing business extremely good, and the organization has given me ownership for something else, and I failed drastically, right? And I thought that I lost everything, but actually that taught me something different, and I bounced back, and so on and so forth. So this is what has happened actually. So many hits and misses happens, but when I'm saying, don't take me wrong, that I'm talking strategy in a different way. We have to do in a way which we feel that we are absolutely understand the pulse of it. I talk about 3 scenarios, right? I will talk about the real products or a business model with 3 scenarios where what is the kind of strategy they have used. Right? So this is what happens. This is what we talk sometimes. Every time we talk about it, there is no strategy, then execution is aimless. But sometimes project management when we do, right? In that sometimes we see that execution becomes more important than the strategy, right? And because it's a pure time bound, cost bound, and the project sensitive, a lot of you or maybe all of you would have given exams like JEE, CAT, GATE, and all that. Whatever strategy I do in back of my office, and during the day when you come for the 2 hours in the exam center to take a computer-based test for your entrance examination, and power fails, or internet fails, or your mouse stops working, right? I can see a lot of smiles on the faces, like all of you have gone through this, right? And sometimes they say, okay, drive has not uploaded, your exam is delayed by 15 minutes. The kind of anxiety, those whatever strategy I do, last 10 years I'm doing a different strategic things I'm doing, but every exam something or other happens, and 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, right? So this is what I mean to say, right? Sometimes project critical, time critical, there, then we have to see that how well we do execution, right? So that happens. So the first scenario I talk about is Tata Motors. So I talk because Tatas are very close. I am a second generation Tata employee, so Tatas are very close. I born in Tata Magor, I born in a Tata hospital, I studied in the Tata school. My education has been, entire scholarship is given by Tatas. So I am working in Tata. So everything is in the Tata. So I give a lot of examples, and I give all good examples on that. I will not give any bad example of Tata. So don't worry about that, right? So you see how the journey, passenger car journey they have started. So their hits was Tata Sumo and Tata Indica. If anyone would have known that. So Sumo and Indica. So these were the hits, but actually they launched as a passenger car, and it became really a passenger car because it became a commercial vehicle, more known as a commercial vehicle rather than a personal use. Right? That is how it has gone. It has gone up. It took the market share and it has come down. Because what we have done, we try to do what yesterday been successful, what I said about my own experience, the same thing that they try to replicate all the models, the same thing. It has not worked. Then Nano has come and all those things. But what has happened is when they moved to Alpha platform, when they started that okay, I'll create agile, flexible platform, right? And then they started launching these vehicles that I'll keep a mold, I'll keep a basic interiors, advanced architectures, and all. Then what has happened? We see that today, all of you would have read that 2-3 days back that Tata has become number 2 market in terms of market share in the country. So this is how they transformed completely. That the organization which is last 100 years known for a commercial vehicle, they entered into passenger car business. They were successful. They have come down gap for almost a decade, and suddenly they come out with a platform business. Initiated the entire thought process. They put a new people, new platform, did a market analysis very well. They said who are my competitor and all, and then this entire thing has changed the entire market dynamic. The second I talk about air conditioning, I spent almost a decade in air conditioning business in Carrier in Voltas, and this gentleman was my boss in both the companies. So what Daikin did, Daikin before 2009, up to 2008, 2009, Daikin was an air conditioning company. That time the market leader was Carrier. Before that Voltas was the market leader, before that Blue Star was the market leader. And 90s when Carrier entered into India, then they have taken entire residential and commercial business, and they were the market leaders. And this gentleman, when Daikin wanted to grow, they had a hunger to increase. They were a premium brand, but niche area. When those days, when people used to buy Daikin, they used to think that someone used to be the very affluent background. It has actually the brand has. Then Daikin management, they said we want to grow, and they were looking for someone who has a hunger for growth, who has an experience. So what this organization did is they said, I will change the people. The easy way that I will change the people. They got a new leader and that leader got the people. A lot of people has joined from Carrier, a lot of people has joined from Voltas because it's previous organization. And that is the time when I come to Carrier to Voltas. When he joined Daikin, I decided that okay, I will not join this business. I will shift my entire career to a different business completely, and that's why I've come out of a consumer durable. But more interestingly, that they played a people, and how they played a people role in this, and they created the entire new stream of a multi-dealer, multi-product channels across the country. They said Daikin will be sold with a multi-dealer, multi-channel kind of a thing. At the same time, they created their own Daikin stores. So they said Daikin stores, like today now you go to an airport, you see stores, they are actually not for a business, right? So that is what the concept is started in 2010. And today, undisputedly, they become the kind of a market leader in certain segment. They have beaten Carrier, Voltas, LGs and Samsung of the world, right? So here they took entire people, and people in terms of employee, people in terms of channel, people in terms of go-to-market, people in terms of reach to customer, right? This is what they did. And the third thing, when you see paperboard, all of you see, don't go with the profit loss numbers. I am not here to show whether they are into a profit or loss, but very interesting business model. They become the market leader with a single product, paperboard armrests, right? And they wanted to go. When they saw success, I said, okay, I created a brand, I created a product, I created a very niche customers who actually go for my products. And then they have done a product extension and line extensions, and they come with chickies and all those blah blah, and they multiple variation. The way they were growing in terms of access, in terms of revenue, the same way they were growing in terms of the losses also. That's a different issue now. If you see that latest this thing, they have actually reduced the gap of losses what they used to make. They also rely. So you see three different scenarios we have seen. One, we have seen the vehicles, how they have changed from a product dynamics to a platform dynamics. They become successful. Second, we have seen who have changed completely to a people. And third, we have seen that who become the market leaders in terms of sales when they made it product extensions and line extensions when they did. So then really when we are talking about the product to platform, platform to products and all these things, we are talking what is right. Now the question comes to your mind is what is right and what is wrong. Yeah. So here I just one or two slides I'll quickly run because it's a gyan which I don't want to give you a kind of a gyan. But why I thought that I'll talk about this briefly is all of us we know that corporate strategy that we make on a various aspect keeping in the mind what kind of a growth we want, what kind of a businesses we want to enter, what kind of a market we want to be in that, and what kind of a sustainable environment we want to create. Sometimes like Tata Steel is the best example. When they start a business, they start a plant and all, they want that they're kind of create a city. The city like the city is created on Kalinganagar, they are creating a plant, or they try to take entire ecosystem together, right? So what is the kind of objective they have, right? That is what is when strategically when a new unit or new business or new organization they wanted to start, this is what is first. And what is the kind, when we started at ION, the first, Mr. Ratan Tata was the chairman at that time for the group, and this ION name has been given by him only. And that time we kept a kind of a target, okay, this much period, we'll touch this revenue, right? We kept a time frame and the revenue and what is the market we want to enter, right? That is what the growth and portfolio which we wanted. When we started this, we said only we'll start with 2 products. That time we said only we'll go with a product, we'll not go with any platforms. The product one is an online computer-based, which we say online assessment, actually is a computer-based testing. And second thing, we said we will go with a ERP, education ERP. This is what is the two products which we thought in 2010, 11, we thought and we said we will go with them. Why we wanted to go for that? The reason is, that is the time actually I entered into this and I completely new with a new thinking which I come into this business, which neither I had a technology background nor I had education background. That is a business in education. I entered into this, and that is the time I traveled almost 2 years, all 740 districts of our country. We have 752 districts, or now 758 districts, but 740 districts I have traveled extensively all these 24 months to meet the education academicians, education administrators and boards and all to understand what is that. And that is the time when we saw that the major recruitment through testing will happen in one area. That is the banking sector. We have 21 public sector banks, and these banks, they recruit the clerical examination through clerks for clerical examination, and they recruit the provisionary officer through officers examination, like they become a manager and all, so on and so forth. And why so that a massive recruitment? Actually, in a flight, I saw that newspaper that that people who joined in 70s, between 1970 and 75, they are going to retire. And banks, government banks, has not recruited anyone from say 75 or 78 onwards. They have not recruited anyone. Complete the recruitment was stopped, almost negligible. So huge vacuum is created. And when huge vacuum is created for 21 public sector banks, the kind of application, the most lucrative job is railways and banking. And that is what we thought that, okay, we have to act very fast. And that is how we said, okay, we'll enter into assessment. Okay, when we started, we wanted to enter into education ERP, but when we see this change, and when immediately we do, now we will talk about a corporate strategy, vision, mission and all, right? You see that immediately we sat in a boardroom for maybe months together, we planned something, we executed that, and we have made line extension for another product and immediately launched and we become the market leader in that. So this is what I'm talking about, right? So this is what I thought I'll show this slide so that you will understand what I'm talking about. Right? When now we come to a platform. When we talk about product, one product, one-to-one we do, we make revenue, we we get successful, we fail, or we earn revenue, we don't earn, shutdowns or whatever. But the moment we go to platform business, we do a many-to-many kind of a thing. Now I'll give an example here. Now what we did is we created a marketplace, education marketplace. You can very easily relate immediately to when the moment I say marketplace, Amazon comes in your mind. Right? We created education marketplace where all three stakeholders, the people who want to consume, that is the students, they can come there. People who want to create maybe education content and all, they can come there, like publishers and all those things. As a platform provider, we are there. That, we are trying to integrate all these three people. Where enterprise business or a retail people, they can come and they can do that. Some becomes a consumer and creator also. So this is what when we say that I have to grow multi-fold, I have to bring entire ecosystem together. I have no other way other than to enter into a platform business. And all these people here you see, make one, sell one to make more and sell more. All these people, examples what you see, whether it's Amazon, whether TikTok, whether Apple, whether GitHub, whether whatever you see here, all of them, they are into that. They have come as a product and they have transformed themselves into a platform. Otherwise, they realize in an early stage that otherwise I will not into a platform. Now, the question will come that whether I should enter into a product or a platform. There is nothing right whether I want to enter to a product and then to platform or platform to product or both together. But it depends purely on what kind of a business model I want to enter, what kind of a market I want to target, what kind of a product line I want to be. Right? These are the things which actually matters when we do this. So few success stories also we should see. Here, when we talked about the three scenarios we talked about the what kind of strategy we should do, and few success stories. See this, how, I don't know anyone is using Zerodha here? Anyone is using? So few of you are using, right? So you understand what I'm talking about when you use Zerodha. So they realize, right, that Sher Khan was the market leader, or is a market leader kind of, right? When they realize that what is the gap, they identify these are the three gaps. Immediately, they have come into this, right? So what they did is, okay, I will not take charges from you, right? And UI and UX, they have improved very well, that they can make more user friendly. If you see, very interestingly, if you see Zerodha users, more of a young people are there, right? And if you see the Sher Khan users, more of the old people like me, they are using the Sher Khan. Right? This is the difference. Why this difference happened? They understood the psyche, the mentality of the users. That what kind of, they very clearly they said, okay, I'll target this, and automatically this will get attracted towards me. See, if I will come, I will talk to three youngsters, they will say I'm using Zerodha. Out of curiosity, I will use Zerodha. So what I did is, I was doing Sher Khan and ICICI and all. So I don't trade and all, but for my own knowledge, I just opened account and all. So this young engineers who joined my team, and few of them, they were trading, and no one openly says in India that I'm doing a trading also. So one guy has said, sir, I do this. About 27, 28 years. I said, kahan karte ho? He said, Zerodha. I said, I have not heard Zerodha. Honestly, I have not heard Zerodha, right? Then I started doing research and all, and this guy has all the time he spent in that. And when I see the user experience between both, you realize that, they were the first movers. Sometimes first mover advantage is not there, but they are the first movers in that, and slowly, steadily, they are making a dent in the market. If you see, second, Udemy, they say anytime, anywhere, the access is a very important thing. Udemy, when it has come, it was having a very low profile, right? And the content, they said in this business, content is a king, and the availability and the very seamlessly people can use this. And then what they did is they integrated all three people. What I talked about, the platform, the creator, the user, and the people who want to bring both of them, the third party. Very seamlessly they have integrated all these three people. Right? And they become this. And when this Dream Lemon, they have come, they come with a gaming. Right? And they have done a product extension, and slowly they have started moving into different. Medibody initially they have come like, it's become slowly, steadily becoming one of the biggest health tech company. And they are now entering into post-COVID insurance and all those kind of things, right? You see these people how slowly they are putting one and they are making it in a different extensions. Make My Trip is very interestingly, what they are doing is, we understand that holiday packages, initially they used to do ticketing, or they entered into holiday packaging. Now what they are doing is they are tying up with institution and enterprises, organization, saying that you give a training, you want to train your team members, whether a student or working executives, I will arrange entire logistical part, right from their home to a place where they want to go. And I will do this. So they have understood with the evolving of edtech and education, right? And the importance of education and learning in our country, they have come on very quickly, very smartly. I have all the logistics available. I am not the guy who I am going to teach. I am not going to enter into that. But who are going to arrange this? So they are coming something called a destination learning, right? So if people are there in that part of the country, they will take them to Lonavala, Khandala, right? So this is what they are doing. So they have very smartly entered into this kind of a business. But whatever I talked about, all these things, it looks very good. That okay, I use technology, I use people, I understand market, I create a product, and I can earn money. This is what is basically all the stories talking about. But is this so that platform is going to revive, or platform is the way going to be business? Now we see that people who use platforms, whether they are able to do justice to what they were doing, or they got a first movers advantage. So all these people, housing.com, they were the first mover in this business, right? And they made very big also. And the way they have grown, the same way they have come down also, right? So here, neither platform, nor product, nor market, everything was right. Idea is correct, strategy was very good, their pricing was very good, their go-to-market strategy was very good, you know, everything was good. But we know what has happened to them. eBay, very confused. They started very well, but they confused. Like, you know, it is not that that I want to target this particular segment. They wanted to target this, they want to target this, they want to target this. And out of that, and targeting the entire universe, they have somehow, they lost their traction completely. Ulu, they are there, they are big, and they are the first movers in this business. But people who have come later, they understood where the problem is, and they slowly enter into that market. Right? The big players are there. And that kind of, I don't want to take names. One of my group company also is into this market, this business. IHCL also has entered into this business slowly. And we entered very slowly, but we are going very fast. Same Jawam or Cantwell or Local Banya. Local Banya, the concept what they have come is amazingly good concept, but they are ahead of the time. Right? And that's why maybe the consumers are not able to pick up what they want to communicate, what they want to do with it. I'm sure after 5 years, see, I'll give my personal example. When I left Voltas and we created a startup. So there was a guy who was, I'm Ahmedabad alumni, he left his job and he wanted to start a company. And we met somewhere and he said, why don't you Gopal join? So I said, I have no experience of entrepreneurship. He said, no, okay, you joined. I said, okay, I'll join with you as an employee. So I joined with him. And we were into a assessment business, paper pencil assessment, right? Those days CAT, ZAT and all used to happen in OMR sheets, right? All these exams used to happen. So that business we entered. We were there for 2 years and we had to shut down that company. And we have, both of us, we do. What we realized, so what at that time we did, I think in 2004, 2005, what we did is we were ahead of the time. The same thing in 2011, I did again and we were successful. Why we are not able to be successful at that time and why we have been successful later? The only reason was that the concept of outsourcing the exams was not synced in with the people. Say, suppose if I would have come to XLRI, today that is done by TCS, right? If that time I would have come to XLRI, and incidentally I came to XLRI, Father Ek was the director at that time. We come to XLRI, the idea of doing outsourcing exam is not how the confidentiality of my question paper, how that you are not going to influence candidate. I mean, so many questions, right? Whether I come to this institute or I go to some other institute or I go to government entities, everyone has that and we didn't have an answer, right? That, you know, how we are going to tackle with this. Because so many hands will be involved when I print OMR sheet, when someone is creating a question paper, someone is evaluating the question paper, and third person is actually printing that question paper, fourth person is actually transporting to exam center, and fifth person is doing the reverse logistics, and sixth person is doing the scanning and putting the data, and you know, so on and so forth. The idea of how we are going to manage that particular thing was, we had some, up to some extent, that idea, but we didn't have an answer for all the questions. We jumped into that. We did fairly good business and we have exited smartly out of that, but it was not successful. But the same 2005, 2006 what we did, and again we started in 2011 and all. There's a different issue in the Tata brand we did, and today we are almost, you name any exam in the country which happens in a computer testing mode, whether it's an admission test or a recruitment test, you will always see TCS Ion platform. Right? So that is a transition which has happened. We were ahead of the time and our answers were not. The same problem would have happened with these people also. Maybe their idea is good, the execution is good, maybe they use the right platform, but maybe they are ahead of the time, or maybe they are not able to use this. So multiple factors are there. I'm not going to detailing out with these factors, but what I'm trying to tell you here is, when we talk about the strategy, when we talk about the product, when we talk about the platform, when we talk about the market, lot of places are there where we have to understand that that is not a simple plug and play, that permutation combination, I'll put it here and there and then it will work. The center is the customer. All of us, we know that. No one else. Like my very famous saying in my company that, to tell my people that my salary is not given by TCS, my salary is given by my customers. If there is no customer, then I'm not going to get my salary. Right? So for me, I become very hyper when I get a customer complaint. So anytime I get a customer complaint, so my entire unit, sometimes they get frustrated that always you support customers, sometimes we are also correct. I said, you are never wrong, but customer is right. Now you have to balance between you are right and customer is right. Sometimes customer is wrong, still they are right, right? Because this is what we have to understand. So now you are thinking, forget about this brand and all. Why pressure cooker? I am showing it. If you see, India primarily, if you go from this part, West Bengal, Orissa, Andhra, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Gujarat, primarily we are a rice eating states, right? And from the central India to North India, if you enter, they are primarily non-rice eating states. When I am saying non-rice or rice eating, the quantity of rice here consumption here is more the quantity of rice consumption that part of the country. So we can say South India and rest of the India, or South India and North India. But so South India rice eaters, I am from South India, so we eat a lot of rice. And someone say Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, they say I eat rotis and chapatis and all that. If you see, the pressure cooker design also has been created. If you see lid, one lid is up and one lid is down. Because when you see the consumption pattern of the rice, we eat a sticky rice in that part of what I mentioned. And if you see rice when this part, all the danas should be separate. And the pressure cooker, what if this basic habit, the behavior of the customer, if they will not understand, someone will enter, ये तो आसान है यार, प्रेशर में स्टीम में कुक होता है, चावल डालेंगे, पानी डालेंगे, हाई प्रेशर होगा और कुक हो जाएगा, 5 मिनट में बस हो जाएगा. If this fundamental, someone will start the business, what is going to happen? This will be disaster. So this small innovation is going to change. So what is that any business when we are enter, we should understand the consumer behavior or market dynamic. I was in Carrier and I was in Calcutta and then they have been transferred to Orissa. I was posted in Bhubaneswar and I was the branch manager. So those days I was kind of one of the youngest branch manager. Always I was high that not in Carrier, a lot of consumer durable industry. Right? Okay, a young boy become a branch manager. And I was doing pretty well. And Orissa, in entire eastern part of the country, Bihar was one, it's pre-2000. So West Bengal was number one market and followed by Orissa and followed by Northeast. Guwahati was the headquarters, all 8 states used to be there. And then Bihar used to be the market. And I was doing quite well. And one of the meetings when this gentleman whom you saw in Daikin, this gentleman said, Gopal, you are doing very well, right? So I said, sir, I am going to start something new. new concept, and that was 99 and 2000 kind of thing. That is the time these Koreans were almost entered, particularly LG and Samsung. And I said, till then we used to operate in a multi-dealer, single dealer model. SSD we used to call, sales and service dealership. I said I want to start a multi-dealer model, right? So monthly offtake of air conditioner, the boxes what we used to call, of mine that time in Odisha, if I remember correctly, around 250 boxes to 300 boxes used to be there. And we used to have 3,000 retailers in those days in entire Odisha. And my so-called Excel calculation, if I sell one box to each retailer, from 300, I'll become 3,000. And I'll become the kind of a poster boy of my company kind of a thing, right? And this concept, and I talked to my boss, he said, yeah, please go ahead and do it. And any business, you see, when you're into a dealership business, there are one or two dealers are very strong. They are as strong or sometimes more stronger than you, right? They used to take that 80% of your stock. I also used to have that kind of a dealers, in one in Bhubaneswar and one in Rourkela, for western part of Odisha and central part of Odisha. And when I started traveling entire Odisha, and this guy realized, and he called, he said, what is happening, Gopal? I said, I'm making more retailers, right? So the so-called other refrigerator dealers, TV dealers and all, I have started making retailers. And that month he said, I will not pick up the material from you. Stock I will not take. I said, okay, no problem. And these guys, so that month I did 3,000 boxes. Not 3,000, 2,000 boxes I would have done. And in a meeting, I was actually become very high on this guy has not lifted material. Next month also is not lifted. Next month also I did. Third month, what a thing. My outstanding has gone multifold. What I missed there to understand the market is with the retailers, you have to take 100% advance. You give them the cash discount, you give them the freebies, but don't give the material in credit. The moment you give material in credit, say 20,000 each boxes, then you have it. And whenever you go to collect the money, either he will say, "Maal bika nahi hai, abhi stock mein, aap chahe to stock le jao," or he will not be there only, he will not pick up your phone. Those days, mobile phone was not like WhatsApp and all was not, And suddenly I saw that, 9,000, 8 to 9,000 boxes which I sold, I got the money of only 1,000. I was about to lose my job. Complete mess. And then you can understand what would happen. So-called youngest branch manager to where I had gone, right? I thought someone will give a job. That all this industry are very close-knit industry. Everyone knew that this disaster had happened. But the intent of my doing a business, aggressive business, I would have controlled my aggression. I would have, controlled aggression. I would have made my business, which I have not done. But the support of my boss, he said, okay, you did a mistake, but now you only have to clear this mess. I'm in the consumer durable industry, the norm is that every 2-3 years they transfer. Someone they took from Tamil Nadu to Orissa to Bengal, something they will do. And I was about to get transferred, right? And I was actually asking them to put me somewhere in north or south or west, because those days east used to be considered the fag end of the market. And actually हवाई जहाज भी डायरेक्ट नहीं आता था यहाँ पर, right? पटना एक फ्लाइट आता था, कलकत्ता एक आता था, भुवनेश्वर में एक एयर इंडिया का फ्लाइट आता था, that also via flight of Hyderabad. So no senior guys will come to these markets. When senior guys will not come to these markets, you will not get exposure. The MDs and general managers and the vice president. So everyone wants to have close to these people so that you will also grow. So I wanted to get transferred to either south or west or north. He said, I will not transfer you, clear the mess. So what has happened, I got an oxygen that my job is saved, but at the same time I had a big task. I'm not able to collect all 8,000 whatever I sold, maybe 1,000 or kind of a thing where I have to do a writing of the outstanding. So this is what you have to understand your market, you have to understand your consumer. If you will not understand, these pressure cooker companies, they understood this game very well, each one of them. And they keep on changing the design with the food habits. Pressure cooker, you see what 20 years back pressure cooker was there. Today you will not find that pressure cooker. Right? At home you go and see your pressure cookers, you will have, maybe you have, I asked my wife that you have 5 kind of a pressure cooker. She can't answer me that why. She said, no, it's the latest, kind of a thing she says. But actually, when they cook the rice or dal in that any of this pressure cooker, the kind of outcome it gives, and that is what is a decisive factor, and those people are very well. So what happens is they work with the people who are in the food industry. So this is what is very important. All of us, we heard that culture is strategy for breakfast, right? And all of us, we know the story of BSNL. See, from where to where they have gone. They were the undisputed only player in the country. And when anyone has an experience with that company, whether you have a landline and later on mobile phones and all of us, I don't have to explain, right? This is very, very important. A lot of you, maybe in other than TCS, other Tata companies also, like Koindrila said she worked in Tata Steel, few of you would have been Tata Steel, so other Tata companies also. Earlier, Tata companies used to say that, we used to, a lot of people used to talk that government of Tata Enterprise, आपने यहाँ तो नौकरी से नहीं निकालते हैं, kind of. But do you think that culturally we are same? Last decade, culturally we are same. I'm not saying that we sack people. I'm not saying that we will. But the kind of shift of aggression has happened. The results only show whether you talk about ISCL, whether you talk about motors, whether you talk about steel, whether you talk about TCS, whether you talk about chemicals. Any of these companies you see, I am not talking to new generation companies. With Tata Digital and all, I am not talking. I am talking to the old companies, the kind of shift culturally they have done, whether you talk about motors, steel, chemicals and all, the kind of shift they have done, right? Because if they will not do, they will completely out of market. And with time to time, all these so-called old 100 plus years companies are changing drastically. If we see in TCS, we keep on changing as per the markets, right? When 2009 we shifted, we saw and we changed our focus completely from one operating model to different operating model. And then 2021, we have changed that 2009, whatever we did, one operating model to another operating, because we see the kind of challenges that digital, the technology, the behavior, the human is coming, the kind of lot of disruption is happening in technology. Unless until we change, we are not going to be sustained, we are not able to be there. And the kind of gap we are keeping between the competitors, that we cannot do this, right? India is purely a value for money, right? You are a billionaire, but still if you go to a sabji wala, you will say, dhaniya apni mein chahiye, right? So that is what we are, and we are proud of that, right? What we are proud of that. That we are understand. And when you are into a monopolistic market, when you, like today I say, a few minutes back I mentioned that you go anywhere computer-based testing, you will see TCS. I keep on telling my people, don't charge high. Always your price should be, your customer should be happy what you are charging. Customer should not feel that you are charging. See, one of the service providers the other day in Mumbai, Sunday, my driver, he's off. When I have to go to long distance, I take this call taxis, right? App taxis. Because I am from a Meru ka jamana, so I remember only call taxis. So app-based taxi. One of the app-based taxi, so one of my friends, he stays in Tallinn. I stay in Powai in Mumbai. And he said, come for, my wife and daughter has gone to Singapore at that time. So he said, come for lunch. I said, I'll go this taxi and I'll go. Sunday, no rush, no office, nothing. I got a cab, 1,000 rupees. Powai to Kalyan, anywhere. Shabby, completely shabby. And I cannot describe it. And I reached there. Okay, anyway, I booked. Evening when I was coming back, so my friend said, have a cup of tea and then you leave. I said, okay, I will try a cab. When I checked the availability, it says 5 minutes. Rate shows 625. I said, okay, I chai pee ke jate hain. After tea again, I tried to do, it says 10 minutes, 955 rupees. I said, now 55 hai. So my friend said, थोड़ी देर बाद try करो. So after 15 minutes, I tried 1325. Okay, anyway, I booked and I reached. So 2300 plus and 40.5 kilometers from my house to his house, one way. So 81 kilometers. I spent 2300 rupees. So somewhere 34, 33, 34, 35. So I wrote a mail to Ola's founder. And I said that I paid, I'm not putting any complaint, but what you are doing, you are taking the advantage of a monopolistic market. And remember, same thing Meru did few years back. When they were in peak, you used to call those days, you used to call and book your cab. Night you call them that morning I want 5:30 cab for airport, and morning at 4 o'clock or 4:30 you will get a message because of a heavy congestion. Cab is, we cannot provide you cab. If you want a premium category, you have to pay this much. Now you see Meru? You don't see Meru. Right? So short term. So this as a business leaders, whatever business, whenever you do, whenever you reach to a level when you are going to demand major share in the market, please keep your pricing in control if you want to sustain in a long term. If you don't want to sustain, then do whatever and then ready to be one day you become an alien in that, right? So India particularly is a market which anything, if I buy Mercedes also, I'll go to a showroom and I'll say kitna discount do. Like Maruti's famous slogan, kitna mileage hai, right? So if I buy Land Rovers also, I will ask a discount. I'll go for a gold, I'll ask a discount, right? It is not that everyone, whatever we buy, we ask a discount. The moment I get a discount, I'm actually happy. And if you see any shop, it says, no, I will ₹1 discount, majority of the time you walk. Not because of the money, because of the attitude. Right? So because we are operating a value for money market, right, this we have to keep it in mind. So various aspects, I thought I'll talk about TCS case later, but I explained intermittently how we did, what we wanted, where we wanted to do. So we are a player where we do provide technology in education. Right? So we don't say that we are the expert in content, pedagogy, teaching, learning and all. But we help them to create with our platforms, whether they want to create an item bank, they want to create a metadata for item bank, they want to create multiple items, they want to create a learning materials and so on and so forth. Right? This is what I was talking about. We created a marketplace. We call it a ION learning hub, where the creators, the publishers, the consumers, the users, the third-party providers, everyone can come and they can use, consume, whatever they can do that, right? Why I say this? The example which I given, when you morning you reach your exam center and power failure happens, network failure happens, your computer hardware is not working, and this is what it happens. So it is not that strategy is important or execution is important. Both are equally important. It depends where you work, where you operate, how you operate, and what is important where. Sometime we have to see that the execution, particularly when we do a large kind of a projects, and execution time on projects, if you will not complete your project on time, each passing day you have to pay a penalty in terms of your cost. So then what will happen? Cost escalation will happen. Then the project will not be viable for you. So both are equally important. But what reality happens in India, a lot of time, and this is, I'm talking of a real thing, I'm not talking of me or you, right? This is what is the Mona Lisa's perfect painting, which is what market says, I want this picture, correct? And then we set a goal, okay? This is the goal what we set, we create a product. Someone comes and they say, I want this kind of a product, and we set the goal like this, right? So finally we create minimum viable product like this. The guy is, because he has no contextual understanding, he may be a very good coder or a developer, but what happens is, this is, you don't have a context on what context this product has to develop. So his understanding is whatever his understanding is something. So I think you would have seen that online form, I think a year back, become viral in social media, where a developer somewhere in US or some place, he developed a very good e-form, where it's a debt application, and there is a drop down, you are applying for yourself or someone else. How can I apply a debt application for myself? Right? That is what is the contextual knowledge which I am talking about. Right? So what happens is beta, we and what beta we releases. This is what we get. Right? And updates like this, which we get, post beta updates. Because of the various reasons, because sometimes communication distortion and all. The product finally what we launch is something similar product what we get. Right? A lot of cases we have seen. Right? I don't want to name that, but sales what they sell in the market is this. Right? And delivery they deliver this. Right? So what happens is sometimes, a lot of times, between sales and execution team, that is a project management team or a after sales service team, there is no coordination. Right? And majority of the time, you book a refrigerator, and the sales guy will give everything. राइट फ्रॉम डिस्काउंट मेरे को 13 तारीख को 2 बजे डिलीवर होना, यस मैम आपके पास 1:55 में आ जाएगा. नाउ आफ्टर 1:55 13th को आप उसके पीछे लगते रहो, शाम में 5 बजे के पहले, 6 बजे के पहले, 8 बजे के पहले, दे विल नॉट डिलीवर. देन दे विल गिव ऑल काइंड ऑफ एक्सेस, मैडम आपके एरिया में हमारे को 4 मिनिमम चाहिए था, एक बड़ा टेम्पो में कैसे भेजूंगा, 4 लोग ऑर्डर उस दिन नहीं आया था, काइंड ऑफ थिंग. एंड ही डिलीवर्स, देन द गाय हु इज सपोज्ड टू फिट your refrigerator, that guy will come, keep on chasing. All of us, we have this kind of experiences, because what happens is we don't give importance. Sometimes either we give importance to sales, or sometimes we give importance to only after sales. But in between that linkage, majority of the time, and in some time chalta hai attitude within an organization actually kills the culture. So this is what happens. So thank you very much for listening me patiently, and any kind of questions or anything, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you, sir. Now I will request the batch, if they have any questions to ask, please do raise your hand first.
Good evening, sir. Pleasure to have you. So I would want to ask you if you could elaborate a bit on the role of data and analytics in the context of evolving business strategies from product to platforms, and also if someone would want to leverage the data for driving the platform success, how should we go about it? Thank you.
So now all of us, we keep on hearing data becomes the primary source for any decision making. No doubt, a lot of tools which are there which helps us how we can play around with that data. And whenever we create any platform, this is what I actually mentioned during my entire thing, that lot of play is not only a data or a product or platform. In between, this what happens is, I am from a technology company. I know how to analyze data. There is a data, various tools I use, and various after applications I am going to come out and I say that, okay, this is what is the product I'll create. The example what I've given in the e-form of a death certificate, typically this is what happens, right? I forget the behavior, what customer wants, the consumer behavior, market, which direction market is going. Unless until I club all these three things, pure data analysis is a typically what happens is we say is Excel workout. Typically when we do a business planning, we extrapolate. When they ask that okay, 5 साल का business plan बनाओ, growth बनाओ, तो we say that okay, company is growing at the rate of 20.5% CAGR. My unit I'll also show 24-25% because that base is very high. My base is marginally low with that. I will show 25. My boss is happy. My people will be happy, and that number looks very good, right? This is what has happened. But if we do this, the risk, the downside is in that is various aspects. Now, currently, suppose anyone wants to launch, suppose someone is working with the government in Indian scenario, okay? And irrespective of the product or platform or in a business line there, and they wanted to do work with the government. And we know that from October onwards, that various states, around 6 or 7 states, and central is going for election. Entire their decision to buy, unless until emergency material, it will be completely stopped for at least next 18 months. And at this point of time, I will say, okay, this data showed last 5 years, and this is the analysis, and this is the product I'm going to launch, and it will be fantastic. Do you think it will work? It will not work. Correct? This is what, when I talked about, so what happens purely, and we saw that platform users, they could have done much better. We saw 6 examples, right? They could have done much better because they had everything. They had knowledge, they had first mover advantage, they had a fantastic, some people did some fantastic market analysis, some people did a very good product development, but unfortunately they are not successful. They lost the market because of they have forgot complete ecosystem of the business models.
Hello, good evening, Gopal sir. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence and giving us such an insightful presentation. My name is Adil, and my question to you is that what do you think are the benefits of adopting a platform-based business strategy? And do you think in the coming years, all businesses that are dealing in services would adopt a similar strategy?
So, the products and definitely the future, and we are going, we may start from a product or platform, but definitely we'll go with because both have a distinct advantage. When we move from a product to platform, you have to incur cost and the timeline you have to see. But when you only purely want to go with a product, you can generate a single stream revenue basis, but it is much faster. So typically what I see is a combination of both will happen. The organization, the way they create a strategy that I will enter into a product, I'll create a minimum viable product, I'll have a self-sustained business model, then I will start investing for a future. And then I will see, I'll tell you today, suppose if I talk about my current business, today in India we do a linear testing. But globally everyone goes with the adaptive testing. We know that sooner or later it is going to shift from a linear to adaptive. And we started already working and investing, putting everything. And we will be ready the day this shift will happen. Although it will not happen overnight this year, but the day this shift is going to happen, we are ready for moving from a linear to adaptive. Right? So this is what is one has to do. And this is what is going to be the future. If you see the example of say Swiggy, what Swiggy did, Swiggy started with a product. Okay, what I will do is I'll have an aggregator of restaurants, I'll collect food and I'll deliver here. And later on what they have done, they started collaborating with provisional stores also, they started putting that also. And slowly maybe apparels and other also they do. So now what they are doing is purely they are moving from a transaction, e-commerce transaction to pure play platform kind of a business model they are moving.
Hello sir, good evening. My name is Rakshit Mehta. Thank you for sharing valuable insights. My question is, hello. Sorry for the disturbance. My question to you is, with the advent of ONDC and OK platforms, how does the business viability for many platform businesses would have been affected?
But actually, according to me, it is very good. ON, DC and all, when they are coming, they are now in the pilot phase. All the small players, they will have an advantage, right? The government of India, what vision we have, Startup India, Make Up India kind of a, Make in India kind of a thing. All small players will have at least equitable platform. They will get something. That is one. Second thing, what is happening is, today, all of us, we are a consumer of e-commerce, whether whatever Swiggy, Zomato's of the world, whatever. And the thing what I talk about the pricing, right? When you see, you order one vada pav which costs 20 rupees, by the time it reaches your house, it becomes 69 rupees. Agree? That is going to be changed completely. End of the day, the beneficial consumers will be the beneficiaries, like you and me. Now, when you talk about a business viability, see today what is happening, we have almost 40% of our population are internet users, kind of, and this is going to grow. The way we are going, but we are not evenly using this digital medium, right? Once these platforms will come, we understand the power of this platform. This will become a wrapper of all this. They kind of aggregator to everyone. So cost will come down for consumers, for business houses. The scale will go up. So they, on a scale economic, they will make this thing. And the data what it will generate, that is going to help the stakeholders. Now don't ask me who are the stakeholders, but definitely the data will definitely help the stakeholders.
Good evening, sir. Thank you for the insightful session. My name is Malika, and since you spoke about adaptability, I wanted to understand how you modified your business model in this new normal, how COVID impacted your business, and how you're overcoming that. Thank you.
So, very interesting question. When all of us, so 23rd March, I think, lockdown has started, and I was in Ranchi on 22nd March. So Ranchi has invited me to interact with the student. 22nd March I was in Ranchi. I think that was the last flight it has operated from here, which I luckily gone back to Mumbai. And 23rd March onwards lockdown. My business, so we have multiple products and platforms, but my main business was the assessment, where students like you come to a center and they give exam. That completely stands still from 23rd onwards. So my centers got affected, team members, everything, my main business completely come to a standstill, right? Like any malls or restaurants or hotels and all kind of things. So that also impacted. But what we did is, 2 days it took us to think that, okay, the day government will allow, with what we knew that very soon government is going to allow, whether it's 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, whatever it may be, but there will be a lot of restriction for long period. And unless until someone will follow those restrictions, they cannot do anything. And what we created is, we created a model where we say that the moment it will open, the students, we will start our exam, we will take clearance from government and candidate come and they can give the examination. That is the time we have come out with a model called, we have registered trademark also, HD50, HD100, HD50 isolation and HD100 isolation. We call it a social distancing 50, social distancing 100, isolation kind of thing. Now what does this mean? This is a center, all of you have seen. So in this table 4 people are sitting. When we will say HD50, only 2 people will sit. So when Government of India announced that, safe gaj ki duri, 6 feet distance, right? August 22nd they started, they opened up. The moment they started, we are the first people who to conduct the examinations. And entire country, including educational institutions, was thinking how, so they were doing online and all. physical thing we started from our. So what we did is SD50 model, one seat in between. We did all sanitization and all. We took certification from AIMS and Medical Council of India and all. So my business actually running from others. This is what we did. The second thing what we did is immediately we said, okay, remote assessment, machine proctored, human proctored remote assessment. Right? And we launched in just 15 days, 2 weeks, and we launched and we started with. So all high-stake exams, which we call a high-stake exam, like ZAT is a high-stake, CAT is a high-stake, SAT is a high-stake, GATE is a like that. All high-stake exams we say we will do the moment government will open the thing, and all other exams will do a remote proctor, either machine or human proctor, and we started. So only my business in another way, if you see, impacted only 50 days. Because we have acted very fast. If you wouldn't have acted that, then it would have taken maybe 6 months, 8 months, because complete lockdown open, it took almost 10 months, 9 to 10 months, right? Then I would have started my business after 10 months, almost a year kind of a thing. But my revenue, what I did previous year and what normal growth I have shown, I did the same business in that year also, and after that next 21 also I did the normal growth, and then this year also I did the normal.
Hello, sir. I'm Rohit Kumar. Thank you so much for this insightful talk. Actually, I was very interested in that story of your startup where you started this assessment business, and that was through Tata. It was enabled through this digital transformation, right? And eventually, it got successful through this digital transformation. So, I want to understand that how you perceive the digital transformation that India is undergoing in the past 5 or 10 years versus the rest of the world.
So as I mentioned that 40 or 45% of our population is already using internet. Only thing is they are using uneven. We don't know what we are using, what we are doing. And the rate of growth that the internet uses, which the growing, the kind of digital is making impact in our lives. If today this device is not there, I'm completely helpless and clueless what is happening. Right? And it is not with me, with everyone, almost everyone. This is what is happening. And the rate at which we are growing, rest of the world, definitely it is much faster than that. And last 5 years, what we have seen is definitely no doubt each one of us we understand. But it is going to be an even play when what he asked about ONDC and all, right? The moment those things will come, we understand the power of the platform. See, today what is happening is, all of us we are using in a subconscious mind. We don't understand the power of what is happening. That's what I said, if you order a vada pav, the cost 20 rupees and when it delivers 69 rupees, we are doing that. If I have money, I'm ordering. If I feel that, okay, my capacity is not there, I'm not doing. But what I am doing is, I'm not doing research. There is no regulation or there is no uniform platform where I can compare. Like insurance is the first companies which they have come, okay, you can compare your premium payment with other players and everyone claims. So then you put your model, your vehicle number, your years, and then multiple platforms they give, multiple providers they give the rate. This is what is going on.
So since the running out of time, we take only one more question and we'll do the third one.
Yeah.
So any more questions?
This will be the last question of the session.
Good evening, sir. My name is Nishank, and I have a question. How does the concept of ecosystem play a role in development and success of platform-based business strategies?
So, ecosystem, I talked about the consumer behavior, I talked about pressure cooker, I talked about the platform players, I shown why they were supposed to do well but they're not able to do well, like the wrong eBay and housing.com I talked about. It is not that only I create a platform and best platform I have created, that will happen. But there are takers of that platform. And the takers, when I say takers, why recent past, the last 5 years you have seen, every day you open a newspaper, you see EdTech is in the news. Every day, that success of EdTech. And every day you open the news, that every day EdTech is shutting down. We all see the same platform-based business, same domain, same startups, and research also said that youngsters like you, which startup they want to go for EdTech startups. Right? Why so many EdTech startups are shutting down? Everyone is a platform player. Majority of them are platform player. Very few are the product player. The reason is that I know I have a technology capability. Decently, I know that Indian education system, okay, because I have gone through last 15, 17 years in education system. Decently, I know what is education system. I know how technology will make an important aspect of this, because you can, like the question which she asked about data. So all these three clubs, data, platform, and the domain knowledge, I perceive that I have, and I think that I started EdTech startups. But I'm starting that, but I forget to understand, and all these startups, when you see, they are into a learning domain. Now, why after 5 years, I think you have minimum eligibility of 3 years, 5 years, right? Why after 5 years you come to do MBA? Each one of you, after 5 years of your basic education, then 5 years experience, and then you joined XLRI to do your management course. Why? Because either you want to have a higher pay package, you want to go for a better organization, you want to go for a different domains, or you want to go for a different roles. All these aspects is linked to your career. What if XLRI will say that, okay, I am teaching you, this is for your knowledge, but all these things, nothing you expect out of this. So they will not talk about placements, they will not talk about average salaries, they will not talk about which kind of organization they come here, whether they come or not. They say, boss, I have best of the best faculties, I will give you a good learning, will you join? No. The answer is no. All of us, we are doing learning for some better outcome. Unfortunately, platform play in this domain, they forget this aspect. Unless until I get a promise that I get a better pay or better job or better domain or better role or whatever, or betterment once I come out. When we say, why we say that this is a premium institution, this is a B grade institution, this is a C grade institution, why we say? Purely based on, this is what is the problem. Hope I answered that. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker Gopal sir, respected faculty, and dear friends. On behalf of XLRI, PGDM, GM Batch, and the GST team, I would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to Gopal sir for gracing us with an enlightening and inspiring guest lecture today. I am sure your expert insights would have left an indelible mark on all of us present here. We are truly honored to have had privilege of hosting such a distinguished speaker. Your vast knowledge and experience in strategy formulations and marketing formulations have been very well evident and undoubtedly captivated our minds and ignited a thirst for learning. The importance you place on having customer-centric approach for every commercial organization, be it understanding customer behavior, market, pricing, is something we would need to strongly consider at our workplaces to excel at what we do. The fun way in which you presented the mismatch in perception of various departments for a new product in market was great, and I feel many of us would be able to relate with it.
Once again, thank you, sir, for answering all the questions with such a passion to share. And our batch would truly cherish the invaluable knowledge bestowed by you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would request Professor Kalakar sir to present the memento to the guests.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gopal sir. Thank you, Kalagrat sir. I would request my fellow batchmates to arrange themselves for a group photograph.